Okay, hello. This video is for all of our elementary leaders for March week 2, that is March 14th. All this month we are learning about the life app of patience, waiting until later for what you want now. And our memory verse for this month, I'm going to flip this around. Sorry, I went swimming this morning and out in the rain, so I look really great. Okay, wait for the Lord. Be strong and don't lose hope. Wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. That's the motion for this month. Hopefully you can see that. All right, and this week's story is about sitting, waiting, and wishing. And it's the story of the golden calf in Exodus 32 when the Israelites were waiting for Moses to come down off Mount Sinai. And our bottom line is, when you have to wait, remember what's true. And I'm super excited about this week, guys. Speaking of waiting, this time last year we had church March week 2, and then church was canceled before March week 3. And so it's just been such a year of waiting, and I'm so excited just a year later. I really don't want to take church for granted, and I'm so thankful for kind of this redefinition of waiting for us. So as kids roll in, make sure to greet them by name, say a prayer for them before they come in. And then what you're going to do is you're going to tell kids you're going to play a game called I'm Thinking of Something That's True. And you're going to read a true description of a person or things, and the kids are going to guess what you're describing. After a few good guesses, if the kids haven't figured out the answer, you can give them the answer to keep things going. And after you read the statements, you can give kids a turn to come up with their own descriptions. So some examples: I'm thinking of something yellow and big with feathers and a beak, and it's Big Bird. And they give you a few other things, and you can come up with your own. So that's kind of your little icebreaker activity. When service starts at 9 and 11, you have two choices. One of our choices is for our older kids. One is for our younger kids, although older kids, you can certainly do our younger kids activity as well. So for the older kids, one activity, you have 5 different recipe cards for all different kinds of things. So it's easy biscuits and pancakes and chocolate chip cookies, mac and cheese. There's 5 recipe cards. And what you're going to do is you're going to read off the phrases. So maybe a few ingredients, part of the directions, and you're going to ask kids to guess what recipe they think that makes. And then kind of follow it up by saying, do you guys like cooking in the kitchen? What's your favorite thing to make? When you make something, and then what they said, do you have to wait for it to bake? Sometimes waiting is really hard, and sometimes I don't do a good job of waiting. So let's head to large group and hear about a time when God's people didn't do a good job of waiting. And for our younger kids, I wasn't sure that they would know those different recipes. So you're going to read some fun statements, and the kids will determine whether it's truth or a lie. If they think it's true, they're going to go to one side of your space. If they think it's a lie, they're going to go to the other side of your space. So you're just going to read each statement and let kiddos move. So when an octopus gets angry, it shoots out a stream of purple ink. That's false. It's black ink. And then you'll close that down by saying, wow, the true statements were extremely fun facts. Raise your hand if you've heard some of those facts before. Well, sometimes the truth can be strange and interesting, like those facts we just learned. And today in large group, we're going to hear just how powerful the truth is and how it can help us have patience. So older kids, you could do either one. Younger kids, you're going to do with truth and a lie. After that, at 10 after, you will head down to large group to worship and hear our story for this week. When you get back, our follow-up activity is called Watch for Patience. So what you have is this worksheet that looks like a watch, and it has a bunch of different examples on it. And what you're going to do is you're going to have kids, it says color their watch yellow like the golden calf from the story today. And then they can use a black marker or really any color, and they're going to circle the tools that people use that can help give us patience, and put an X through things that are impatient choices like the Israelites made. And you're going to use those pictures to review the Bible story of how the Israelites grew impatient. And you're going to encourage kids to come up with ideas for how the Israelites could have shown patience. Things like they could have remembered God's truth. They could have talked about all the promises that God had kept for them. And they could have done something to occupy their time. So the example is Bible. That helps us. Prayer. That helps us. Talking to a counselor or talking to our friends. I'm not exactly sure what that is a picture of. Maybe talking to a trusted adult. Getting angry, that does not help us. Making idols, that does not help us. All these other things help us wait patiently. Those two, not so much. Okay? And then you'll close it down by saying, it's easy for us to be shocked about what the Israelites did when they didn't choose to be patient. And it's easy for us to point fingers and wonder how they could just forget about everything God had rescued them from. The thing is, it's easy for us to grow impatient and forget God's truth when we have to wait. And then tell kids a time about when you had to wait and you were tempted to forget about God's truth and goodness. So maybe when someone was sick or you lost a job or things didn't happen the way that you wanted them to. Miss K, I'm just thinking about your house selling right now. What a great example of patience. When you have to wait, remember what's true. So the next time you feel like the Israelites did and you want to pitch a fit because the wait is so long, just remember that God will help you find patience. Then this next activity, such a great, super fun activity. It's called Back in the Jar. You're going to ask kids if they've ever wished they could skip dinner and go straight for dessert. Well, you're going to tell kids that today they get to show that they have patience and put their cookie or their ping pong ball back in the jar. So you guys are going to make these little devices where it comes out and whoop. I'm not going to be able to do it while I'm trying to watch. Okay, you get the point. You try to catch the cup in the ball. We are going to have holes pre-made in the bottom of the cups for you. K-1st, we are going to have the string put in for you already. All kids will do is pick what color ping pong ball they want, and we just used Scotch tape to tape the string onto the end. Big kids, we will probably have them, you can either tape down or knot the tie on the inside to make their cup. They, for little kids, and maybe big kids, I will have stickers for them to decorate their cups with. And then they can practice putting their cookie back in the jar and talking about times when it's difficult to wait. And then you will just close it down with prayer, reminding kids that they can remember what's true and they can ask God to help them have patience with the small things and the big things. And I forgot, memory verse activity. So definitely little kids, practice your memory verse with the cup. Big kids, memory verse. I have this decoder activity. I didn't think the little kids would be able to do this, but big kids, I thought they would be able to do this. Younger kids, you're just going to practice your memory verse with the different voices and hand motions. Big kids, you're going to spread out these decoder cards face up on the floor, mix them up, and then you'll pass out one of these pages to each kid. And you're going to have kids use the different codes on the floor to fill in the blanks on their paper. So they'll kind of walk around, try to find the right letters and numbers that they need and fill in the blank to fill in their memory verse. And then you can practice that with motions as well. That's the memory verse card. Sorry, I forgot that. Okay, so that is it for this week, guys. Lots of stuff to do about patience. Also, I forgot, we got some books about patience that I will have in the kindergarten and first grade area. They're kind of geared towards younger kids, but older people, if you have some downtime and you think that you would like to read aloud a book to your kids, we read this one aloud last week, you are more than welcome to come down and read these, especially Boys Room. Patient Ninja would be a really good one. My second grader still loves Elephant and Piggy, so any of these might be a good choice. They will be available if you would like to take some time and do a little patience read aloud with your kids. That's it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for serving. I am so grateful for all of you. Thank you for all that you do, and we'll see you on Sunday.